KNK Dave vs reportedly ran up to confront Floyd Mayweather face-to-face. The unexpected encounter that took place during a recent event has sparked widespread speculation and interest within the boxing community.
Hey, knock it off! You hear me? Respect me. I'll fucking arrest everybody here. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck off my property. Hey, chill.
However, there has been significant controversy surrounding the pay-per-view figures for the Tank vs. Frank Martin bout held last month. Esteemed boxing journalist Dan Rafael stated in a recent report that the event garnered between 325K and 350K pay-per-view purchases across all available platform forms. Rick Glazer, a boxing matchmaker and promoter, had earlier suggested that the fight would barely achieve 200K pay-per-view purchases. However, here's the twist. Calvin Ford, the head coach of Tank Davis, refuted these figures in an interview with Mill City Boxing. The Baltimore coach dismissed all the online statistics as false. Accurate pay-per-view sales figures usually take a few weeks to be confirmed, so when Rafael's report was published, the timing seemed ideal nonetheless. During an interview with Ford, a reporter from Mill City Boxing inquired about the online line figures. Ford responded that that's not true, and even when pressed about whether the numbers were close to accurate, he refused to comment. He said that number isn't correct. That's why I haven't posted yet. Those numbers aren't true yet. According to Rafael's report, the Martin fight, once heralded as the second largest in sales, now finds itself shrouded in uncertainty. Davis's fifth title defense, priced at $74.95 per puff, generated over $26 million. Nonetheless, Calvin Ford has dismissed these claims, leaving fans anxiously awaiting the actual figures in the meantime. Rick Glazer had earlier expressed his disapproval of Dan Rafael's reports after Rafael's update. Glazer turned to X to voice his opinions on the statistics. He had written, "This is hilarious, it didn't even hit 150K. More PBC propaganda is being floated to the media by PBC operatives like Leonard Oliver and Tank Davis." It appears that a boxing commentator has provided some explanation amidst the confusion. Glazer has consistently critiqued everything related to PBC and Al Hian. At one point, he even suggested that PBC was on the brink of collapse recently after Glazer asserted that Davis's fight garnered just 150K buys. YouTube personality and boxing commentator Showbiz the Adult took to X to express his opinions on the issue. He wrote, "You don't have to believe me or Dan Rafael. Just remember that the 150K puff buys were reported only 2 days after the Tank fight. The puff numbers aren't tallied that fast. It usually takes 10 days to tally and report the numbers." Dan works for ESPN. This is a war room, and Glazer hates PBC amidst the multitude of conflicting reports from different sources. Discerning the truth has become challenging. Nevertheless, Calvin Ford remains assured that the existing figures are without merit. Shakur Stevenson claims that the ideal measuring stick for fans to compare him to Tank Davis is his bout this Saturday night against Artem Haratunin on June 15th. Tank secured an 8th-round knockout victory over Frank Martin in a bout that remained highly competitive until the decisive finish in a closely contested match the previous year. Martin narrowly defeated Haronian by a unanimous decision after 12 rounds on July 15, 2023. Shakur may be wishing for the best when he believes that supporters will use his battle with Haratunin as a yardstick for Tank's. Davis boxing enthusiasts who witnessed Martin versus Haronian have already made up their minds about Shakur. They view this as a poor selection of opponents, especially since Artem is rebounding from a defeat against the same fighter Tank recently dispatched in the 8th round. Shakur's sole opportunity to win over fans hinges on his ability to demonstrate bravery, stay in the fray, and achieve a knockout against Haronian. Any other outcome will be perceived as a setback for whose popularity is rapidly declining. Shakur Stevenson said, "I think it's a great measuring stick. Having fought Frank Martin and me fighting Artem, We're fighting the same level of opposition, which is damn near because Martin and Harriet fought each other and we saw that they were on the same level. Shakur feels that his opponent for this Saturday night, Artem Haronian, is a similar level fighter to Tank Davis' last challenger, Martin. Comparing Shakur to Tank Davis using Haronian as a benchmark is misleading, especially considering Haronian's recent loss to Martin. It undermines Shakur's caliber when he's pitted against such opponents to truly win over his fans. Shakur should have considered granting Edwin de los Santos a rematch. Such a move would have demonstrated his ability to shine brightly against him, especially at full health, leaving no doubt in the minds of his supporters. Now y'all can gauge off of our performances and get the fans excited a little bit. Shakur is putting a positive spin on his choice to fight Harriet, who just lost to Frank Martin. Shakur's decision to take on Harriet has already been criticized by fans as weak, and the only way he can win is by completely eliminating him on Saturday night. Shakur's chances of pulling off such a feat are practically zero. He consistently fights cautiously and avoids standing his ground to unleash his punches, even when facing opponents like Haronian, who aren't known for their punching power. I want to show everybody who I am. I think a lot of people forgot who I am as a fighter off of one fight, said Shakur when asked what he hopes to show fans in his fight against the recently beaten 33-year-old Haronian on Saturday. Shakur added, "I don't put out consistent nights where I'm shining and looking good. And one night I have a bad night, and everybody is stuck on that regretfully." Shakur has previously fought in dull fights, including one with Edwin de los Santos. Fans rarely bring up Shakur's previous fights, which weren't particularly entertaining to watch in his bout against de los Santos. Shakur employed his trademark pullback technique to great effect, minimizing the number of times he was hit. While that's commendable for fans who appreciate defensive prowess, it lacked excitement. Shakur hasn't altered his fighting style since his amateur days. He continues to fight in the same manner that doesn't align with what fans are used to seeing in professional boxing. Shakur stands out as unconventional in the pro ranks, appealing to a specific type of fan who appreciates his unique fighting style. Aren't there enough fans of that type to make Shakur a must-see star? However, if you put Shakur in a time machine and transported him back to the early 2000s Mayweather era, Floyd's fans would appreciate his fighting style. Fans' preferences for Shakur's throwback aesthetic aren't going to alter, nor is he suitable in this period. What happens during sparring sessions is meant to stay private, but increasingly, stories are being leaked from the gym. The activities within a training camp during a fighter's preparation are intended to remain confidential, particularly when it comes to sparring sessions. Details such as the fighter's progress, the number of rounds completed, and specific guidance from the coach are kept. Therefore, under wraps, it's inappropriate to discuss any knockdowns or victories that occur in private. However, when tensions rise between fighters, covert footage frequently surfaces to fuel the animosity, as recently seen with Devin Haney and Davis. Recently, the news highlighted another incident involving Davis during a gym session. A fighter who was scheduled to face the Baltimore native recounted a story where he was sparring with a well-known boxer. The fighter's identity was kept confidential to avoid causing embarrassment, but some believe that it was Floyd Mayweather. "Man," the fighter said, "I was about to spare the tank. He was sparring. This big boy Tank hit him so hard. He was just on the ropes like this. I thought he died be happening. Best not get in there with me." That's it after parting ways with Mayweather Promotions. Davis has openly criticized Floyd Mayweather multiple times. Davis felt he had outdone Mayweather in terms of accomplishments and even went as far as calling money a fraud in public. He later prohibited Mayweather's protege, Kermel Moton, from participating in his undercard fight against Frank Martin. Moton has addressed whether he harbors any beef with Tank Davis during an exchange of light-hearted banter between Mayweather and Tank. Moton tweeted in support of TBE, seemingly favoring Floyd Mayweather over Davis in response, and I rate Davis's decision to pull Moton's fight from the June 15th undercard fight hype. Moton inquired about his beef with Davis prior to his fight on the undercard of Nate Diaz vs. Jorge Masvidal. Second, Moton said, "Yeah, I wouldn't call it beef with him, and Floyd had some beef going on, and I had posted a tweet of me and Floyd. I guess it was inappropriate timing to post it. Tank felt it was directed towards him, so you know he took it the way he took it. Things happened, and they're in the past. I'm not really worried about it. Moten boasted of his affiliation with TBE, but at the same time, concerns were voiced concerning Mayweather promotions in the wake of Leonard Ellerby's departure. TANK Day vs MGM Grand Garden Arena undercard. However, Moten promised his fans that big news was imminent soon after he surprised everyone by securing a spot on the undercard of Nate Diaz versus Georgia Masaku at the Honda Center in Anaheim as he prepared to fight Nikolai Buin, whom he views as a stepping stone. Moten: when Davis parted ways with Moten, I drew strength from Mayweather's encouraging words. What did Mayweather say to him? He said he had just told me, don't worry about it. There's a whole bunch of other cards, so I'm right back on this one, so there's more and more opportunities coming. Meanwhile, some are questioning whether Davis truly surpasses Terence Crawford in the ring. While Davis showcases undeniable brilliance and a style that demands scrutiny, the question remains contentious. In showbiz, the adult hybrid artist commentator aligns Davis with Floyd Mayweather, asserting certain qualities where Davis potentially outshines Bud Crawford. What exactly are these distinguishing traits? According to Showbiz, the adult Davis possesses all the skills demonstrated by Terence Crawford in his bouts. To illustrate his point, he cited Devin Davis's knockout of Rayleigh Romero in 2022. In the closing moments of the 6th round, Romero, feeling overconfident after landing a right hook, attempted to press Davis against the ropes. However, with his right leg positioned outside the tank, he swiftly caught Romero in a squared stance with his left hand effectively angling out. So Showbiz, the adult, said Tank's a better aggressive fighter than Crawford. He has everything Crawford has. He can box a fighter coming after him. In the midst of their bout, Davis versus Leo Santa Cruz, the moment arrived when Davis narrowed the gap, maneuvering Santa Cruz to the ropes. As Santa Cruz launched his right hand, Davis strategically awaited the right moment. Davis deftly positioned for a swift left uppercut in an instant. The blow connected, and Cruz found himself on the canvas. On that note, Showbiz added that he can go after you and he can just box him. He knocks everybody out just like Crawford, but there is something better, except that I think Janice Chin is slightly better when Terence Crawford goes out there. He's going to beat you athletically, but there's a certain poise that GERVONTA has that unlike super special continued Chiz. And he has that Floyd Mayweather poise where he cannot do much, but he's beating you mentally. Davis approaches the fight better than anyone else in the world. He confidently concluded in this context that it is worth mentioning that in the past, Davis showed interest in fighting Bud. Last year, Devin Davis nonchalantly hinted that a bout with Terence Crawford at 147 pounds would result in a fate akin to his victories over Rayleigh and Santa Cruz, putting Crawford to sleep by the 6th round. Crawford later responded, dismissing Davis's chances of moving up to 147 pounds while leaving open the possibility of a future showdown. I'd keep his weight at 147 pounds. That's a big money fight, he told The Breakfast Club, but nobody's going to give me credit. Tank's like 5 and he's a little guy. Crawford had boned fans who were quite interested at this point. However, Davis stressed that he was joking and had no intention of really facing Bud in the meantime. Shane Mosley has revealed the one tactic May employed to defeat Mayweather in the ring. Floyd Mayweather, I think, wins pretty easily at 135. He's a little taller, he's faster as a boxer, and I don't think Dot will be able to get closer. He won't be able to counterpunch Floyd because he's too short. Mosley noted that Tank possessed a power reminiscent of his prime. Additionally, Mosley speculated that Davis, a southpaw, could present a challenge to Floyd Mayweather, who historically struggled against left-handed opponents. Mosley added that Floyd didn't like to play southpaws back then, which is why DeMarcus Corley and Zab Judah were able to touch him a little bit, so that is a possibility. Before closing remarks, Mosley addressed a query about whether Mayweather would have outperformed Davis before adopting the nickname Money. Floyd Mayweather was famously known as a lovely boy. These two distinct monikers underscored different phases of Mayweather's career, each representing his evolving boxing style. As a younger Mayweather, he showcased a more aggressive toe-to-toe fighting approach. However, as he matured, his strategy and physical prowess transformed significantly. Mayweather, known for his strategic prowess in defense, particularly during the Money era, focused heavily on protecting himself. Mosley believes that any version of Mayweather would still have the ability to defeat the talented Davis Money Mayweather would have beat him. I think both Mayweathers beat him. The lovely boy was more aggressive, and I bet both versions of his style will win. Concluded with a smile, Mosley Floyd is also set to return to the boxing ring this summer for a much-anticipated rematch against John Gotti Tjia, the grandson of the infamous late mob boss. Along with the fight poster, Floyd shared a message on Instagram stating that he had unfinished business. August 24th, Mayweather via Gotti 3 rematch in Mexico City. This is something you don't want to miss in June 2023. During his initial meeting with Gotti 3, the 47-year-old witnessed pandemonium unfold as a riot broke out, causing spectators to storm the ring originally scheduled for a rematch over Super Bowl weekend in Las Vegas. The fight has been relocated to Mexico and is now set for August 24th. Floyd recently commented on the Jake Paul vs. Mike Tyson fight. Initially, he refrained from making any negative comments about the bout. The world champion went on to commend both Paul and Tyson, particularly praising the YouTuber for his unorthodox approach.
Up there in the top 10 in pound for pound. He has to be somewhere in pound for pound. And Canelo done something that is amazing when Canelo was able to go to light heavyweight and become light heavyweight champion, something that I didn't even see him going up that heavy, and he did that. So, but as of right now, I have to put Terrence Crawford as number one.
Floyd said what he's doing against Mike Tyson is kind of cool if he can continue to steal money and they match him the way they match him. I can't beat his hustle. Tyson's 4-month fight delay due to a stomach ulcer serves as a compelling case study. Paul's exceptional promotional skills. Recalling his strategies before a prior match, the influencer emphasized the importance for professional fighters to aggressively market themselves to achieve similar financial success. He said we live in a different boxing world now and a different digital age in general, and it's the fighters' responsibility now to promote themselves, and once they realize that instead of sitting around on the weekend and playing video games in between the training sessions, they have to be on TikTok and making YouTube videos. They just hustle. Mayweather, known for his unparalleled defensive prowess, is celebrated as the most precise puncher of the computer box era.
He was like, I gotta do that.
A lot of people don't know that what Floyd do. He said.
So you feel like it was a sub, like he was subbing you, like, oh, like
he was going at me. He was going at me, and I knew for sure he was going at me. That's why I went at him. There's no reason for me to go at Floyd.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Cause it's, I feel like y'all got, I wouldn't say love hate, but it's been like the last interview you showed them love. This week it was whatever. But is that sometimes like, you know, is it just like big bro, little bro seeing things different, or what is it to you?
No, Floyd don't never. He felt as though I'm at that point where as though
Throughout his career as a multiple-time world champion, he consistently faced formidable opponents, underscoring that genuine greatness is forged through challenging rivals when reflecting on his most formidable adversary. Mayweather singled out Manny Pacquiao, especially emphasizing their legendary clash in the battle for greatness. This insight came to light during Mayweather's guest appearance on the $1 Million Game podcast. He said the best fighter I ever fought probably was Manny Pacquiao. It's because of his movement. He's a hell of a fighter, and I can see why he won so many fights and why he's going down as a Hall of Famer. It's just certain moves he makes that make Mayweather's exceptional defensive prowess shone brightly during the Las Vegas match, securing him a clear, unanimous victory today. Floyd remains actively engaged in conversations about the sport's top fighters. His deep insights are highly valued, making him a significant voice in boxing. Recently, Boxing Maine sought his opinion on the current pound-for-pound champion, where he highlighted several.
There's a gun in your head. When are we gonna see the Shakur tanks, the Shakur Devin, the Devin tanks?
There's only one fight that is really
the one.
That, like, if we were like gonna be for real about it, like,
keep it honest. What's
like,
the fight?
My opinion, because we talking about like skill and like boxing, like all around boxing, right?
Yeah.
Because we ain't talking about somebody that just got a good jab or what.
Yeah.
We talking about like all around.
Can do everything.
Yeah, boxing.
Yeah.
Me and Tank
Moreover, Floyd emphasized Tank's candidacy for the top 10 pound-for-pound fighters, asserting his deserving place among the elite. He also acknowledged Canelo's remarkable achievement in becoming a light heavyweight champion, a feat Floyd hadn't anticipated. Ultimately, Floyd named Terence Crawford as the premier fighter in his pound-for-pound rankings, considering him the best of the current ERA.
Nah,
Wow.
cause he a good boxer, nigga. Like that's when I look at y'all two as the best in the division.
How? Show me something that he did spectacular. Show me something that he did outrageous. Show me.
All right.
His power not outrageous.
Okay.
What defense?
Oh, you don't think he got defense?
He just jumped back. You never see him slip no punch. You never see him slip no punch. Go look at it. You see him back up from a lot of people. Back up, move around. He don't got no technique. And his offense is the same thing. Go look at his fights.
So you
I
feel
probably
like
put
that's
him on
easy
game,
work?
probably tighter than that. Yeah,
Hold on, but you feel like it's easy work though. You like,
come on, bro.
yeah.
Bro, I touched him with 16-ounce gloves on, and he ran. Imagine if I hit him with 8.
Meanwhile, a heated debate is unfolding within the boxing community regarding matchups across different generations. Speculation is rife about the potential face-off between Floyd Mayweather and Davis. Rapper Mace ignited interest during a podcast by proposing an intriguing scenario: a showdown between Mayweather, the renowned 5-division champion, and his protege and WBA lightweight title holder, Davis. In an interview, Mace discussed the ongoing animosity between Mayweather and Davis. He stated that if Floyd is acting like a sucker, I have a plan. Listen and fight each other. I'm putting that on the table. This will be the first time Tank has had to fight. Both fans and experts find the concept intriguing, even if it is unlikely that they will fight because of their age. Gap in a recent confrontation. Davis heightened tensions by directly challenging Mayweather, alluding to his notorious 90-day jail term after a 2020 hit-and-run incident during a heated exchange on social media. Recently, Davis alleged that Mayweather faced a dilemma in Dubai and challenged him to a live social media. The question of whether these two boxing stars, who occasionally support each other, have truly made amends remains unclear.
Well, the two guys, well, the biggest puncher, I feel, at the 135 would probably be Gervonta Tank Davis. But the most skillful fighter at 135 will be hands down Shakur Stevenson.
And what is it about him? Because I know he have a lot of good attributes, but do you think he has enough power to sustain?
Well, it's really all about skills. Pernell Whitaker wasn't a huge puncher, but he was, very exciting, very tough, and he fought everybody. And Shakur is trying to do the same thing. He want to fight the best they got out there. He's asking...
While the specifics of their conversation remain confidential, it is evident that the relationship between the former mentor and protege has deteriorated significantly. Make sure to check out some of our other videos. Shakur Stevenson has been rumored to be hospitalized after Davis allegedly jumped him. Rumors suggest that the altercation took place at a popular nightclub in Miami. Both Stevenson and Davis were present at the club, and tensions between their entourages had been brewing throughout the evening. What began as a verbal dispute quickly escalated into a physical confrontation. On the other hand, Shakur Stevenson is determined to give a thrilling performance in his hometown of Newark, New Jersey, this coming weekend against Ardam. Stevenson views this bout as a stepping stone on his path toward a potential mega showdown with Gervonta Davis. This highly anticipated fight would feature two undefeated lightweight world champions. Davis boasting a record of 30-0 with 28 knockouts and holding the WBA title, and Stevenson with a 21-0 record and 10 knockouts, reigning as the WBC champion. The more Stevenson contemplates the dream match, the more he sees the potential impact it could have on his career, akin to what Errol Spence Jr. did for Terence Crawford's. Spence and Crawford had been locked in a lengthy period of trash talk and stalled negotiations until they finally clashed last July. Crawford delivered a stunning 9th-round TKO, silencing his critics and cementing his greatness. Stevenson thinks a fight with Tank will boost his personal notoriety and solidify his status as a boxer. He expressed his ambition to be remembered as one of the greats and to be included in everyone's top 5. He used examples like Crawford, highlighting that he believed Crawford had been one of the best and greatest boxers but needed the right opportunity to demonstrate it. Stevenson also mentioned Errol Spence, noting that he was the right opponent to showcase Crawford's true greatness.
In my brain, how I look at him, like he's a talented, special fighter who got like God-given abilities. But like, as far as like boxing knowledge and all of that, like I watched him. He fought. Let's say this how I can put it, right? He fought Rolly Romero and he fought Isaac Pitbull Cruz. Before the fight, when they was fighting each other, he picked Rolly Romero to win because of his power. And that's what he basically said, like Rolly is, he's gonna knock him out, his power, because he's saying like Rolly was stronger. But that's a casual opinion. Like if you really think about it.
Stevenson also didn't hesitate to identify the right person. When asked, he mentioned that for him, all it takes is the right fight and the right opponent. He specifically pointed out that a fight against Tank Davis would be ideal, noting that many people believe he can't win, which he finds motivating. Stevenson and Davis have both insisted on wanting to battle one another.
Right now, in your opinion, who's the best fighter in the world?
At one particular time, I did talk about, I did say Terrence Crawford.
Okay.
Now, but what are we rating these fighters on? What are we rating these fighters on?
Floyd Mayweather's eyeball test.
I look at it like this. Tank did the same thing Terrence Crawford did to Gamboa. So now you have to
But Gamboa was much younger at the time.
But guess what? There's a difference because Terrence Crawford is a much bigger fighter than.
While Shakur Stevenson is totally committed to defeating Arden Haronian, that doesn't prevent him from having opinions about Davis and Vasyl Lomachenko. In fact, Stevenson categorizes them both as scared. When questioned by a reporter about Davis's recent critique of Stevenson's boxing style, the WBC champion responded without hesitation. Stevenson began saying about Davis, "That just sounds like somebody who's scared, somebody who says you're defensive, and I don't want to get in the ring with you because you have great defense. That sounds like someone who's scared of losing. I don't pay any mind to it. I got Ardam in front of me, and that's the focus." Stevenson put Lomachenko in the same group when his name was brought up. He said, "Lomachenko looks good, but I still think he's scared. He's scared to fight me. Stop being scared, Lomachenko. We're going to refer to you as Duckchenko or Scarychenko until you fight me, champ. Nickname me after I whoop his." Even though the three stars have never engaged in combat, their names have been linked for a while. Shakur suggested that although the Matrix appeared sharp and decisive, Lomachenko might be apprehensive about facing him. This remark seemed to catch the attention of the report officer in the 135-pound weight class. Shakur Stevenson stands out prominently. His role as a WBC champion makes him a sought-after contender for title unification across the board. Adding to the excitement, this division features one of the most prominent names in boxing today, Gervonta Davis, followed by Vanessa Lomachenko. One must remember Oscar de la Hoya's invitation. William Zeppa, a 28-year-old Mexican boxer, has delivered 26 of his 30 victories via knockout, showcasing a formidable power reminiscent of Tank. Interestingly, Cameron is also scheduled to fight on July 6th, the same date as Shakur Stevenson, but in a different venue. This isn't the first time De La Hoya has challenged Stevenson, following Zappa's recent victory over Maxie Hughes. The Golden Boy once again issued a call to arms to the southpaw from Newark. He said, "I would love to see him with anybody, including Shakur Stevenson. Shakur, if you're watching, let's get it on. Let's go even." Top-ranked CEO Bob Arum expressed excitement about the possible matchup. Incidentally, when eminent journalist Lance Pum raised the question of who wants him next, Shakur Stevenson or Davis, the fight was over. The WBC lightweight champion jubilantly raised his hands in response, sparking anticipation among fans eager for his reaction to De La Hoya's recent challenge. If we were to imagine the showdown between the Matrix and Shakur Stevenson, it's undeniable that both stand out as paragons of technical prowess in recent boxing history, absent an early stoppage.
Gervonta Davis was the one that said it. It wasn't me as a boxing writer or some other fan or other boxing writer. So that's one of your peers. Do you think Gervonta?
No, he's a casual though. Like Tank is a casual. You got to be honest. Like, when we like look at him and really understand, like you could be a special boxer, but don't really have like the IQ and I ain't gonna say IQ, but like the boxing knowledge. As I said,
aficionados of pure boxing would relish witnessing a cerebral. The exchange between these two pugilistic intellects has seen Vasyl Lomachenko's triumphant return against George Kambosos Jr. cement his status as the leading figure in the lightweight division. It certainly seems that way rumors are swirling about negotiations for a showdown between the two-time Olympic gold medalist and Davis, with a Baltimore native eager to challenge the Ukrainian. Why should contenders from New Jersey be overlooked? In an exclusive interview with Stephen A. Smith, Coach Calvin Ford issued a clear warning that all challengers should be on high alert. According to him, the only adversary capable of defeating Tank Davis is Davis himself. Ford said Tank against Tank, and that's the only person who's going to beat that Tank was. I'm just telling you there's a reason why Tank is here. I'm just the voice in his head that knows how to push them buttons, and we still ain't seen greatness yet. Ford further said everybody talks about Shakur being a master boxer, but at the end of the day, what Tank is he setting everybody on notice?
Artem won the fight, so honestly, from what I watched, I think that he's a good fighter, definitely dangerous. I see him now, he's training at Top Rank Gym in Las Vegas, so he's putting himself in a type of environment to come in.
I'm trying to give them the blueprint, accept the money, and see, can you beat him? Shakur Stevenson has allegedly inked a deal with Mayweather Promotions and has thrown down the Davis for about later this year.
How confident you are Tank could be fighting someone like a Devin Haney or a Shakur, a Lomachenko next? Do you see that kind of a fight happening for Tank?
All these guys who you guys say are the top guys out there, Tank gonna get every one of these guys. He just can't fight them all in one night. He done already got Ryan Garcia out the way.
Although these are rumors, the anticipation for this showdown is palpable, and there are no apparent obstacles. Both athletes are major figures in boxing at present, with Devin possibly enjoying a marginally higher profile. Nonetheless, Shakur is swiftly closing the gap.
He's going right to it. Stylistically, it's a no-brainer fight. Like, it's a no-brainer. Like, if you know boxing, you know Pitbull was going to do that to Rolly. Like, it wasn't a trick question. It wasn't a hard-to-pick-em fight. But I'm just, like, explaining to you, like, the casual and, like, Gervonta Davis brain. Good fighter, but he's a casual. So, yeah, of course, he's going to say what the casuals say. He reads the tweets and listens to the casual fans. And
Stevenson, akin to Davis, hails from Newark and holds the lightweight champion title, adding weight to the prospect of a unification match. However, Davis has voiced hesitations regarding this eagerly anticipated bout. Shakur is gearing up for his comeback in the ring next week following his triumphant third World Championship victory 6 months ago. Amidst
I want to be in everybody's top 5 for sure. Top 3, top 5. Like his situation, I feel like he been one of the best, been one of the greatest boxers to do it, but he just had the opportunity and needed the opportunity to show it. And I think with Errol Spence, he was the right guy to be there to show how great he truly was. And I think with me,
this interim period, he startled fans with an unexpected announcement of retirement, ensuring no shortage of drama.
All it takes is the right fight and the right person.
What do you think that fight's gonna be for you at 135?
Tank. I think me and Tank is the fight, and I think everybody think that I can't do it, so I love that part about it.
After securing yet another triumphant title defense, Davis finds himself in the limelight once more. Shakur Stevenson recently engaged in a deep discussion with esteemed boxing journalist Kevin Isle, delving into various topics, including Davis's notable comments from the post-fight press conference following the Frank Martin bout in 2007.
Hey man, look man, your beef is not with Floyd Mayweather. You sitting here beefing with Floyd. It's a fighter out here that's been calling your name that want to fight you. Gervonta Tank Davis, let's make the fight happen, man. I'm tired of tweeting. I'm tired of talking about it. Stop ducking me and let's make the fight happen, man.
The NAT Fair Award honored the WBC lightweight champion, who, in a recent interview, provided exclusive details about his upcoming title defense preparations. During the discussion, the focus shifted to the scrutiny he faced after his fight with Edwin de los Santos, highlighting his agile defensive tactics as a major talking point. Critics, including Davis, misunderstood the display, viewing it more as running rather than acknowledging the artistry of a celebrated defensive boxer's skillful techniques during the post-fight conference of his recent match. When asked for his thoughts on a potential matchup with Stevenson Davis, Davis responded, "You know how it would go. Everybody in this room knows how it would go."
He has a hit list, and he's going to get every one of these guys who y'all say are the top guys. Trust me. Shakur's going to get that work. He asking for it, he going to get that work. But it ain't what he think it is. It ain't what he think it is.
Later on, he admitted that a fight between them would be good for the game. Kevin Isle opened with glowing praise for Shakur Stevenson, highlighting him as a top contender in the pound-for-pound rankings. However, despite this praise, Isle was keen to get Stevenson's reaction to recent remarks made by Davis.
I believe his contract is coming to an end, so hopefully we can come together and I can take him to that next level and give him the fights that.
He clarified that Davis himself made the statement, emphasizing that it came directly from one of Stevenson's peers rather than from Isle or any other boxing observer. Shakur retaliated, suggesting that Tank's comments were likely casual in nature. Shakur emphasized the importance of honesty, urging everyone to truly observe before forming judgments. Furthermore, he suggested that Davis' statements might reflect a lack of deep boxing knowledge rather than a low boxing